Alright, so I was looking around the internet to find stuff to make for a new video, and I came across this topic on the metalcore subreddit titled Question for Fellow Metalheads. So let's get into it. How did you get into heavy metal music? You can answer this if you feel comfortable. I liked a lot of like metal music before I became a metalhead, so to me listening to metal music and becoming metalhead is kind of like separate for me, but I know a lot of people would say that they're born listening to metal and stuff. Well, they listen to it for a long time. But when I started listening to metal, I didn't consider myself a metalhead. That only happened like way down the road. I was born in 1990, and one of the shows that I grew up on is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Of course, the theme song has this kind of mix of hard rock and heavy metal made by the legend Ron Wasserman himself. Like, he did the entire soundtrack for that series, and he's such a legend that he has his own page on the Metal Archives website. I really love the instrumental zones where that riff was like so freaking cool. So it's like, because of Power Rangers, I started listening. I heard like, heavy metal. I know what heavy metal was, and then later down in the series when they switched over to Power Rangers Zero, Jeremy Sweet came over and he started doing the score for that series, and that was power metal, and that's how I got introduced into power metal. And there was also the Power Rangers movie, which is when I first heard Van Halen. Also, the first time I heard Red Hot Chili Peppers was through that movie, but I know they are not metal, but yeah. I have two cousins from two sides, one from my mother's side and one from my father's side. Like, they are all too into metal, and my cousin, when we'd hang out from him, like, we would like, yeah, he was like in an actual band and stuff, and we'd just hear the music he played, the guitars he had. And during the late 90s, early 2000s, the most metal I would hear from, that I would listen to on my own, was like the whole alternative metal and new metal stuff like System of a Down and Puddle Mud, POD, like and Korn, like stuff like that. So that's like the stuff I would grow up on, that was on the radio and playing on the television. And later down the road, in 2014, I became a punk. And during that time though, I was more listening to metalcore than punk. And through metalcore, got introduced to the more heavier forms of metal, because like one of the dude from one of my favorite band, actually, the Amity Affliction, he's like a fan of like Cannibal Corpse, and he would always wear on his shirt, and that's how I got to find out about Cannibal Corpse, which is the next one of my favorite metal band, and it is like how I got introduced to like the whole extreme metal subgenre of metal. And yeah, like in 2016 I became a metalhead. I started going concerts, local concerts and stuff, and getting introduced to even more different forms of metals, and just basically finding out what styles I like and everything. Yeah. What makes heavy metal music and culture different from others? Well, in terms of the music itself, it's very grounded, it's very down to earth. Around 2013, I did heard the album Pure Heroin by Lord. I know that's pop music. That album was like more like grounded and down to earth. It was about the lives of like kids and people in them who like in their late teens, early 20s, aging out, and it just like these songs were just like reflecting on their feelings and their actions during that time. And I wanted something more like that. I wanted more something grounded in reality, and was about life experiences. And another thing that got me interested in like music like that is Ryle Kelly, Better Son and Daughter Again, was about mental illness, and I related to it. When I was on our forums, someone posted a song for like A Day to Remember, Right Back at It Again, and it was like, again, relatable to me. It was very grounded, and that's like what kickstarts my interest in metal, because now it just opened this, so it's like, wait, now, okay, well, there's more to music in general than just being this one thing, you know. What makes metal specifically different from others is that how it is very real and very well. It is based on, its themes are very real and very grounded. You can always depend on a metal song to sing about like mental illness and suicidal thoughts or bad things that are going on in the world, or like basically horror movie based stuff, like real heavy stuff, you know, stuff that is not going to lie to you about how things are about the world. Where other music, there's always sing about, oh, let's be party, let's be happy, let's drink, let's smoke, let's have sex. Other stuff is about being it's too happy and too bubbly and too fictional, you know. Whereas like metal music itself is like, it's very realist, very grounded. I shouldn't say realistic, it's very grounded. I mean, yeah, I think realistic is also a good term to use depending on the metal you're listening to, because it is about people's experiences too. Like, I think most metal is about people's experiences. But then there is this whole subset of metal where it's about fantasy, like Cannibal Corpse is like basically horror fantasy. And then Aman Amarth, the next one, I'm a favorite band, like Viking fantasy, and it's like, you know. And you know, I also love that there's like metal music that isn't afraid to like challenge like things that are normally accepted within society. They're not afraid to challenge religion or politics or speak out against it, you know. Right, so there's one more thing that I forgot to say in this part in the video, right? And that is that what makes metal music unique and different from others is the fact that how it's not derivative, it's not loopy, generic, or repetitive. It doesn't. The vocals itself, the words itself change, the instrumentals itself is changed, it becomes more complex, it evolves. It's not like pop music and rap music and like basic other forms of music where it's just like, okay, 2-3 notes, the instrumental is just 2-3 notes repeated over and over again, and the lyrics is just literally just one sentence or two sentences repeated over and over again. Metal is a whole story, it's a narrative. It's like opera, it's like symphony, it's a story, you know. It's something that's, it's effort. It's just basic effort, you know. For the culture itself, I would say it's because it's okay for you to be different. So it's like a brotherhood, it's like camaraderie. It is literally the only outside big community that when I went into it, that people had no problem with me being gay, and there's always like, they have no problem with helping you and being there for you and things. Like, it's like, we know life is hell and we all in this pain, and we're gonna like help each other out of this pain as best as we can. And I think that's what makes the culture itself different, is that how we are there for one another, and that how we can be very expressive no matter what it is we like. We can be very expressive about it, and we can be open about it. And if you truly is a metalhead, you wouldn't care what anybody else think about you, especially other metalheads. And yeah, there are those pretentious douchebag 1% metalheads that be like, oh, he's not really a metalhead if you listen to Corpse Grinder, Cannibal Corpse. I was like, what else fuck we do? Is how we could express dark themes and our love for dark themes, and through that we help one another, and through the music that we listen to, it's very cathartic, and we could be good afterwards because of it. We could be very calm and well adjusted because of it, because we have a way to express our pain and our sorrow in a way with other people who, you know, can express it as well. And when we listen to this music, we'll hear about, like, you know, it's not us alone going through it, it's other people going through it. What do you love about listening to heavy metal music, and how does it make you feel? I feel like I kind of answered this already with the previous question. I mean, if I were to be specific, I love the themes, the instrumentals, the lyrics, the fact that how you could be, the fact that how it's very heavy and very fast, and it's very like, but there's also ones that can be very melodic and stuff, but I'm more into like, you know, faster, heavier stuff, although some slower stuff I've been interested into these days, and I love the like the brutal stuff as well, the one that is like mostly death stuff and thrashing stuff, and like some black metal stuff too. Like I like black metal and stuff. So yeah, and I like power metal as well. They have no limits to metal. Like basically, just like you can be as very vile and heavy and brutal as possible with music. How does it make me feel? Very cathartic, very good. You know, the music makes it known that how, you know, there's other people going through this stuff. You're not alone in this fight. And I also love the horror based stuff because it's cool. Like I think like dark stuff like that is cool. And I like how metal is a community where you can be a fan of like dark stuff and you can express that without being judged or whatever. I like how it makes me feel that how authoritative things like religion and politics and like social norms and cultural norms and things can't affect me, because you know, have other people like they don't care about that stuff and they making music about how they are against that stuff or how they don't care what people think about them and stuff, and it's like it's so good to feel like there's somebody like that that feels the way that I do about the whole broader context of the world. Do you believe heavy metal music and culture has a larger role regarding the broader context of society? What is that role? Yeah, in a way, because I feel like I would repeat myself saying this, is that how you get more people and that think that you know they're outcasts their whole life and society treats them like the black sheep and they think that they don't really belong. But then you have like the music and the culture that gives these people a place to belong, a place where they could relate to, and a place where they could express their anger and frustration and their loneliness into something positive instead of going out in the world and doing something negative. It's better to have a kid listen to this music and eventually be in his own band if he wants to express and write it out to be part of the community, than he go out there and commit crimes because he's so disenfranchised with the world and how he's treated and everything. So it's good to have metal music in some people's lives. You get to express yourself and you get to take out your anger and frustrations into something positive. So yeah. Well, I think I answered enough questions for this video. I shall answer the next half of the questions in this topic in our next video. Until then, see you guys later.